Hey guys, welcome back. I know I took a couple weeks off here from YouTube, but we are back with another 1 hour Pilates body practice. We're going to go ahead and get started. Let's begin on our back. We'll start with the knees bent, feet grounded to floor. You want the knees and feet to be lined up with your hip bones, nice narrow stance. Your arms fully lengthened down beside you, just checking what time we started here, perfect. Angle slightly away with your palms facing sky. Roll your shoulders open and lightly press the backs of them to ground to broaden your chest. We're going to reach the crown of our head behind us to the back of our workspace so the chin lands about this distance from your chest. Remember that during your practice, you want to imagine as if you're holding a tennis ball lightly in that space. Then we'll go ahead and let the eyes close to bring the focus more inward. Connect our mind and body through breathing. Pilates breath, we want to inhale through the nose. Nice, smooth, steady exhale through the mouth. Again, we want to breathe in deep, make sure to fill to the top. And a slow, steady exhale, making sure that you empty out completely. Pushing all the way down to the bottom. Your breath in starts at the pit of belly. Lips into the ribs, fills into the chest, 3-part breath. On the exhale, you're going to empty from the top of your chest, press down through the ribs, and then really squeeze it again out through lower belly. Expansion of the ribs on an inhale, filling your lungs, and then contraction on the exhale, knitting your ribs back to midline. So we'll keep the ease with our inhale. But I want you to force the breath out on the exhale now. Tightly purse lips as if pushing air through a straw. When you breathe in, the abdominal muscles relax and disengage. But when you breathe out with power, those muscles start to contract and activate. Really feeling the belly firming up. I want you to continue to stay with this breath and really take the time to notice, understand, and build up the relationship between your breath and your powerhouse. They work hand in hand and are directly related. See then if you can pull your abs in more deeply each time you're breathing out. And keeping your mind clear to be present for your practice. Let's stay here for 2 more cycles of breath. On that last round, we'll go ahead and gently open the eyes as we exhale. Once the eyes have opened, breathing in next, slowly turn your head to look over your right shoulder, starting with some simple rotational movement for cervical spine. Then breathing out, the head is going to slowly turn to now look over the left shoulder. Again, inhaling, head swivel slow, looking back over the right shoulder again. And then exhaling to the left side. And we want to arrive here at the bottom of our breath out. 1 more to each side. Inhale. So at the top of the breath in, we're finally looking over that right shoulder once again. And then exhale. So we don't want to rush through the travel time. And then we return back to a centered position. Once the head has centered, let's go ahead and interlace fingers. Take hands to the back of the head now. Make sure you cup right at the base of your skull. You're going to lift your elbows up to point to the sky. You want your arms to closely frame your head. We're going to get a nice stretch to the back of our neck. So making sure that your head is able to just kind of sit heavily in the hands. We'll breathe in here to prepare. Breathing out, lifting the back of your head off the ground as you press your chin down to your chest. Feeling this at back of neck, traveling down the trapezius through shoulder blades. Lowering head to the mat again, breathing in. Keep those arms nice and close. Exhale, head heavy, lift it off floor, press the chin to chest. Come back down again on an inhale. 1 last time here. Exhale, pulling the head up slowly, pressing the chin down firmly. And then go ahead and return head back to the floor again. Once it has grounded, removing hands, lifting your arms to the sky, palms turned in to face each other, shoulder width apart with our hands. Taking an inhale now, I want you to lift the backs of your shoulders away from the ground as your fingertips reach towards the sky. Then breathe out, take those shoulders, plug them straight back down towards the earth, working on some shoulder mobility. Inhale, shrug up, reach up high. Exhale, root back down. One last time here, inhale to the sky. And then exhale, find that anchoring to the earth, keeping that there. Breathing in next, I want both of your arms to reach behind you. And as they do, seal your ribs down nice and tight. Breathing out, circle the arms around, bring the arms back at your sides. Getting ahead of myself here. Inhale, arms up and overhead, spine stays imprinted to the ground. You should feel your core activating here. Keep it active as you circle the arms through, coming back down alongside you. Let's do a couple more. Tightening up the belly, supporting your midsection. Exhale, circle wide and pull in. Once more here, inhale behind you. This time, let's exhale, open the arms out to a T, keeping the arms out to their sides. Let's take a big step out with each foot. So you have a nice water stance with your legs. We're going to be working on the fronts of hips, the lower back, and working the abdominals. Let's take an inhale to lower both legs to the right side of your workspace. Firm up your belly, pull the legs up slowly, breathing out. Then the legs, we'll lower down to the left side, start over again. Exhale, core tight, lifting up those legs nice and slowly. We'll do a couple more to each side. Ideally, you don't want your upper body to be peeling or lifting off floor. So the range of motion in your legs might be a little bit smaller than what you thought they'd be, and that's okay. It just allows for a greater pull into the fronts of the hips when you do keep that stabilization. Let's do that one more to each side, to the right side on an inhale. Left side, breathing in, coming down. Firming it up, pull up. Once you have, step the feet back into a narrow stance once again. Next, let's interlace fingers, take them back to the head again. This time we're going to keep our elbows wide. Instead of stretching the back of our neck, we're now going to focus on using our core strength to lift our head, our neck, and our shoulders. Breathe in to prepare. Firm up the belly, exhale, begin to peel off the floor. Eyes towards navel, arms pulling back. Lower to the floor again, breathing in. Again, firm into the belly. Pulling up slowly. And then lowering back down, breathing in. Let's do 4 more here. Make sure your tailbone doesn't curl up off the mat, keeping it rooted down as you lift up. Come down, breathing in. 3 more. Good, lowering on an inhale. 2 more times. Pulling up slow, slow, slow. No momentum here. Coming down, breathe in. Make sure you're lifting with lower belly, not your neck. Exhale, coming up. And then go ahead and come back down to the ground. Once you have, hands will release, knees will draw in, and we'll place the hands on the knees from here. We'll next begin to draw circles with our legs. Use your hands to guide the movement, and your legs are moving together in the same direction. We're massaging out, rolling out the lower back just above tailbone. Take a moment then to pause and reverse direction. Big breaths in and steady breaths out. Wonderful. Let's go ahead and bring the legs back into stillness. We're going to continue to use our hands for support. Next, we'll work on hip mobility. When you inhale now, I want you to use the hands to separate the legs this time, opening them wide. Circle them through, bring them back together as you breathe out. Again, inhale, separate to open wide. Exhale, circle around, bring the legs back together again. We'll take 4 more here, a very subtle pause at the top of your inhale to feel that within your hips before you continue on circling through. Again, we want to open nice and wide. We want to exhale, Circle around. Let's do 2 more times. We're also massaging out our hip flexors here, so be mindful our hands always stay in contact with our knees to support us. Once more, open breathing in. Circling through, breathing out. Once the legs have come back together, let's hold the right knee with both hands and stretch the left leg to the ground, flexed foot here. Use both hands to hug the right leg in closer to the body while actively pulling the shoulders away from the ears. This is going to stretch the glute and the lower back. While hugging leg in, we're also going to circle the right foot, which helps to roll out and warm up the ankle. Reverse direction. Now take the foot into still. Extend your right arm to its side, plug it to the floor. Use your left hand for guidance. Gently start crossing the right leg over body. As you look over your right shoulder, ease into a spinal twist, meaning we don't have to rush to get here or force ourselves to get here. It happens over time and through our breath. So every time you exhale, see if the body can settle more deeply into space. Big breaths in to expand the midsection. Strong breaths out to contract it. Let's stay here twice more. Breathe in. Squeeze it out. One last time here. Take a deep inhale. Use your core strength as you exhale to unwind the body slowly. Return back to centered space. Once centered, place both hands back to your right knee. Pull your lower belly in firm, and then begin to lift your left leg off the floor. Keeping it lower to the ground will be more intense. Lifting it higher to the sky will give you more ease. Let's hug the right leg in again just a little bit and breathe in. Let's switch the legs on the breath out. Left leg in, right leg extending away. Inhale to switch. Keep your spine rooting down to support you. Exhale to switch. Let's take 4 more cycles of breath here. You can always change the angle of your leg extension higher again to kind of ease out of intensity, or lower for more intensity. 3 more. We inhale, hug one leg in, lengthen the other. Exhale, switch it out. 2 more rounds. Inhaling. Reach those toes. Exhaling. Good. One last time. Breathe in to switch. Breathe out to switch. Hold here. If your left leg is not into you, go ahead and make sure that it is. Right leg is extended. Let's lower that right leg then to the floor. Hug the left leg in even more closely now. Stretching glutes, stretching lower back, and just be mindful of your shoulders that they're not scrunching up to your ears. We'll circle the left foot now, rolling through the ankle. Reverse direction. Wonderful. Foot then comes into still. Left arm extends to its side. Using your right hand now, gently guide leg across body while looking over left shoulder for your twist. Big, deep, and full breaths into space. Let's do a couple more. One last time, breathe in big. Tighten up that belly as you unwind. Exhale, slow return back to center. Then from center, both hands back to the left knee. Right leg lifted off ground. Head, neck, and shoulders this time are going to lift up. Let's breathe in. Just switch back a little bit. Breathe in to switch the legs. And breathe out to switch again. So a little bit more heat now building up because our head and shoulders are now off the ground. So we're needing our core strength to support that lift. Breathe in. Breathe out. Let's continue this movement of our legs, but then let's remove the hands and take them to the back of the head. Breathe in, elbows wide. Breathe out. Think knee to forehead. Breathe out. Good. 2 more. Inhale. Exhaling. 1 more time. Breathe in. Breathe out. Wonderful. Both knees to body, head coming down, hands on the knees. Rock side to side to recover. So we're just kind of going to mix in some abdominal strengthening throughout our stretching, our warm up. All right, let's go ahead and get next into stretching. Speaking of outer hips and glutes, feet to the ground, arms beside you. Let's take the right ankle, cross it over the left knee with a flex in the foot. Right hand just briefly to inner thigh to help push it out. When we push the leg away, it opens more hip space. So I get a really nice, deep, juicy stretch. From here then, any variation that suits your body. So that might mean lifting the leg up like I had, or that might mean keeping your left foot grounded, and that's okay. We want to make sure that the right leg does not start to close in. Otherwise, we lose stretch. So just be mindful it stays nice and opened. I want you to think about shifting your weight from left to right here. And I want you to work really slowly so that you can feel the change in the stretch as you work side to side. Generally speaking, when you're leaning to the left, the stretch tends to wrap more around to the glute and can sometimes feel a little bit more intense. You may also decide that you hold a lean because maybe that's what your body is needing the most. That's also okay. Let's stay though in this stretch for 3 more cycles of breath. Couple more. And then upon completing your last round of breath, just recenter your weight. We're going to, if you had lifted up your left leg, we're going to release the left foot back to the floor, but keep the right ankle crossed over left knee. Interlacing fingers, hands to the back of the head, lifting up to tips of shoulder blades. Trying to maintain this level of lift throughout the movement, but if you feel like you need to modify, each time we return here back to center, you can instead return head to floor. Okay, let's breathe in to start here, lifted. Just this lifted part, I want you to take a little twist to your right. Rotation of thoracic spine. Return to center. Also strengthening our waistline, the obliques. Same sided, we're going to twist again over to the right, breathing out. So remember, through the inhale and center, you can always take your head back to the floor to modify this. Let's do 4 more. Come back through, breathe in. Don't lead with your arms, lead with your waist. Squeeze it out, make sure your legs don't shift. Come back to center, breathe in. Let's do that twice more. Beautiful, come back to center. One last time. Good, centering again, breathing in, releasing down, breathing out. Remove hands, arms back beside you, and right foot returns to the floor. Let's do all that on the other side. Left ankle crosses, flex in the foot, hand brief to the inner thigh, push out, open hip space. Once you have any variation on this side, and you may choose to do a different position on this side than you had last, and that's also very okay to do. I want you to notice how your left hip feels in the moment. And then I want you to begin to offer that movement again, shifting from right to left, and a little bit more emphasis on the lean to your right side. That way, again, that stretch wraps around to glute. Ooh, yep. And I've got tight hips right now, so it feels fiery, but it feels good. Soften shoulders if they're pulled up to ears. And then neutralize the chin if it's lifted up to the sky. Let's do 3 more rounds of breath here. Upon completing, weight returns back to center. If you had your right leg lifted, return that foot to floor. Make sure also that when that foot does ground, it's lined up with its hip, as often we tend to step a bit more to center, which shifts our body. We want to be nice and aligned. Let's interlace fingers again, hands at back of head. Coming up to tips of shoulder blades. Let's take a deep breath in here. Ground your SI joints, the backs of your hips, and then twist out to the left this time, breathing out. Center yourself, breathe in. So stabilizing pelvis while the upper body twists and rotates. And back to center. 4 more, 4. Breathe in, come through. Remember that you can take your head back down through the centered position if you'd like. 2 more times. Centering, breathe it in. Once more here, exhale, little twist through the waist. Come back through center, breathing in. And then exhale, head to ground, arms beside, and left foot back to the floor. We're going to next work on stretching the backs of our legs. Let's start by lifting the right leg high to the sky. Hold that leg from behind and anchor that tailbone to the floor. I want you to feel the back of your leg press actively into the palms of your hands. Keep doing that, but now use your hands to draw the leg in a little closer to the body. Soften shoulders and make sure the knee doesn't start to bend. If it has, we've lost stretch, and that might mean the pull-in is too much. So make sure that the leg is nice and long. Breathing into the back side. Keeping in our stretch, we're also now going to flex the right foot, drive the heel up to the sky, which stretches into the calf. And then we'll point the toes, which activates the shin and the top of the foot. Again, heel to sky, flex, and then point. We'll do that once again, heel to sky. Pointing your toes, but keeping those toes pointed as the hands will release. Now arms come down beside you. And because we were in stretch, our leg is pulled in too closely. So we just guide it out a little bit so that the knee stacks above your hip. And then from there, external rotation of thigh. So the hip joint itself doesn't close in, it rolls open instead, much like the thigh had. Keep the arms stretched down long, in close and pressed from the floor, as now they are part of your stabilizing support. We're going to take that right leg, breathing in, begin to lower it straight down towards the floor and find a level of lowering that you can control and maintain. Breathing out, use your core strength to pull the leg back up nice and slow. Never using any swing factor here, no momentum. Let's come down with resistance as if your leg were moving through thick molasses. And then on the breath out, belly tightens up and leg pulls back up to sky. We're going to do 4 more, and if you want more intensity, left leg can come up into a tabletop position, but then we really have to focus on make sure that that left leg doesn't shift in this space. It's going to be tempting for that knee to draw closer to the body because it's easier on our core if we do. Let's do a couple more here. Arms anchored firm. One last time, reach through those toes as you're coming down. Pull the belly in deep as you lift the leg up. Then bring both knees to chest and rock side to side to release and recover. We're going to do that again, of course, on the other side, starting with the stretch and then working into the ab strengthening. So let's return both feet down for just a brief moment. Line yourself up. Then the left leg extends to sky. It gets held from behind. We anchor heavily our tailbone to floor. Energy of leg pushing forward. Energy of hands pulling back, right? Equal amounts of push-pull energy to feel that fight between, which helps to keep the leg long and straight and the stretch really deep. To add by flexing the foot here and then pointing through the toes. Again, heel up to the sky, flex deep, and then point through the toes. We'll do that again, heel to sky, and point the toes, keeping toes pointed, hands release, arms come down beside you, Leg has to push out a little bit, and then the thigh externally rotates. Keep a long, stiff leg as we breathe in. That leg slowly begins to lower towards the floor. Then breathe out, navel draws down towards spine, and the abdominal strength helps to lift that leg back up. Again, coming down nice and slow, resist, resist, resist. Pull back up, breathe out. 4 more. Again, the right leg can come up and take into tabletop if you want more intensity for this movement. If doing that, remember, keep it locked in place. It may also mean that the range of motion on your moving side isn't as big as it once was when your right foot was grounded for you. That's okay also. You can shorten movement. Twice more, coming down, breathing in. Use your arms, press them down, lift up that leg. Last time here, inhale. Pull up slow. Good. Bring the knees in, hands to knees, rock side to side to rest and recover. All right. Let's come back into stillness. Let's keep the knees to chest. Let's bring our arms back and close beside us, fully lengthened, pressed to the earth, and your spine also imprints to act as your anchor. Take a breath in. Exhaling, I want both of your legs to slowly begin to stretch and extend away from the body, reaching once again out through the toes. Draw the legs back in again on an inhale. So remember, when we extend out our legs, closer to sky has more ease, closer to ground has more heat, but make sure the legs don't extend too low, as we don't want our lower back to arch off the floor. So keep your spine pressed in. Couple more here. Extension away, lengthen out through toes, but also through the hips themselves. Bring the legs in again on an inhale. One more time. Keep them here. Paddle those legs. Paddle though through the hips rather than the feet. This is a nice deep lower abdominal strengthener. Steady your body. 3, 2, 1. Bring the knees back in. Pause. So I'd like us to go through a little bit of a leg extension series. So we're going to continue to kind of build up and add to what we just have done. Let's take the arms next and extend them to the sky. Palms faced forward, hands shoulder width apart. You want to make sure that all your moving parts work in unison, and that one part doesn't arrive before the other. They all come together. Take a breath in. Now, as both legs extend, your arms are going to also press down to a hovered position, just above the floor, fingertips reaching to the front of your mat. Bring the knees in and restack the arms on an inhale. Again, legs extend and arms pull down, and again, they arrive at the same time. So it does take a lot of mindfulness here, a lot of focus and concentration to feel into your body. Notice when the extension is ending for both parts, arms, legs. Bring the knees back in again, restack the arms. Let's do that twice more. So this is just as much of a physical exercise as it is a mental one. Bring the knees in, stack up the arms. This time, extension of legs, pressing of the arms. Keep here, paddle those legs. Paddle those arms. Try to steady it as best you can in your core. 3, 2, 1. Then bring these in and restack the arms. We're going to add one more movement to this, which will be a lift of the head, neck, and shoulders. So now head, arms, legs, all move together. The only part that stays sturdy and still is the torso. So everything from pretty much your collarbone down to your pubic bone stays as is. Let's take a breath in. This time, legs extend, arms pull down, and head, neck, and shoulders peel up. Bring the knees in, lower head down, restack arms, inhale. Again. Two more. Good. Bring it in, lower down, stack it up, inhaling. Once more. Let's hold this position, just your arms, pump them down, and we breathe in for 5. Then exhale for 5. Here's 20, we're going up to our hundreds. Exhale. Good, here's 30, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale. Here's 40, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale. Arms and legs are stiff. Here, 50, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale. Halfway there. Good, here's 60, breathe in. Exhale. Good, 70, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, belly tight. Good, here's 80. Exhale. 2 more sets, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale. Last 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, your 100, let it go and recover. So with all the vigorous pumping of the arms, it can be challenging to keep the rest of our body steady. So that's where the core takes hold to provide that assistance. Okay, we are going to get into our roll-ups next. So it's a great core strengthener, but it's also really amazing to stretch the entire backside of our body. Everything from the backs of our heels, traveling up and out through the crown of our head. Let's extend both legs down to the floor with a flex in the feet, pushing out through the heels. And I really want you to think about rolling your thighs to the midline of your body and hugging them into center. Arms are going to reach to the back of your workspace. Make sure your ribs seal down tight to keep your core active and strong. We're going to start by breathing in, lifting arms, head, and shoulders, and not stopping, just exhaling to continue to lift your body upright to seated, stack tall. Hinge from your hips, fold. Here is this big, big stretch. So be mindful. You're still flexing your feet. Your head hangs heavily through the arms. You didn't pull away from the body. You want to lean into the legs with your upper half. Let's stack tall on the inhale, fingertips to sky. Breathe out, tuck your tailbone under, scoop your belly, push out through those heels, round your spine, articulation on the way down, control to the very end. Keep your legs strong throughout. Let's start again. Inhale, begin the lift. Heel, body up, sit up tall, hinge and fold and stretch deep. Stacking upright on a breath in. Rolling back slowly to the floor. As you breathe out, I want us to add more to our roll-ups here. The beginning part will remain the same. Inhale, begin. Fold over legs. Here is where we're going to change it up a bit. When you breathe in, sit up tall and open the arms out to a T. Hug the shoulder blades together. Use your waistline on the exhale now to rotate just the upper body to the right. Don't let your legs shift. Come back to center, breathing in. Nice spinal movement here. Let's take it to the left. Grow taller as you rotate and don't let your arms lead. So feel the resistance of your right arm here, kind of pulling back. Return to center, lift the arms up to frame your ears. Breathing out, tucking tailbone, scooping up belly, and rolling back to the earth once again. Let's do 2 more roll-ups with the addition of our spine twist. Breathe it in, start it up. Anchor the legs heavily towards the floor to help lift you to the sky. Big, deep stretch and fold. Come upright, breathe in, arms to T, shoulder blades in and down your back. Lead with your waist, pull to the right. Center on an inhale. Now your waistline draws you over to the left. Center, breathe in with arms up. Roll it back down with control, slower than you'd like to in space. One more time here. Inhale, begin movement. Really push that breath out when you need it the most. Sitting tall, folding forward, stretching. Stacking upright with arms out to T, like you're squeezing a lemon between your shoulder blades, pulling it to your tailbone. Breath out, rotation to the right. If there's a string at the crown of your head, pulling you to sky. Come back to center on an inhale, and then to the left. Let's come back to center, breathing in. Let's draw some circles with the arms now. Continue to stay centered and stable in your torso while the arms have movement. Breathe. 3, keep your posture up. 2, shoulder strengthener. 1, pause, reverse direction. Reach out through the hands from one side of the room to the other through those fingertips. Breathe, upper back, working hard. 3, 2, 1. And then let's gently melt over the legs. Let your feet relax, your upper body hang heavily here. Take some deep breaths in and some long breaths out. Again, let's breathe in deep, fill to the top. And then on the exhale, slowly begin to stack yourself back up to a nice tall seated position, head the last to arrive. I'd like us to come next into a kneeling position. I haven't done this yet in this position with my camera, so I really hope I don't get cut off. We'll see. I might have to scooch back a little bit. Ooh, just barely made it. Okay, guys, so you don't really have to be mindful of my head in this exercise, but it is nice to see all of me. So sorry about the little clip off the top. But what we're going to be doing next is working still the upper body. So we're going to be working on chest opening. We're going to be working on upper back and tricep strengthening, and of course, using our abdominal strength as well to support our posture in this space. So when kneeling, you just want to make sure that your knees themselves are separated either hip width or even shoulder width apart. You want to have a nice base. If your legs are tight together, we become a little more unstable. With a bit of separation, you have much more balance in space. And then you're stacked upright, knees, hips, shoulders. Arms stretch straight down at your sides. I mean, actively reach your fingertips down to the floor and your palms face back behind you. We'll breathe in here. As you breathe out, begin to press your arms first back, then begin to lift them up towards sky. Don't lean forward to do this, so stay still nice and upright, and that's when the core engages to support that. Lower the arms back alongside you again, breathing in. Exhale, press back and lift up. Make sure your hands don't widen more than where they started. Lower back down, breathing in. Your arms should be stiff like a board. Let's do 4 more. Come down on an inhale. 3 more. Make sure the ribs are sealed and tight here. Lower the arms, breathing in. We'll do 2 more. Tricep muscles, the backs of the arms, the upper back to move the arms themselves. Lower on a breath in. Once more here. Hold the arms up and then pulse them towards the sky, sky, sky. Pump up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gently let the arms come down beside you. Roll out the shoulders. Okay. So this isn't quite considered Pilates per se, but I do want to really think about strengthening our chest muscles, our pectorals as well. I want to do this through Pilates push-ups. I'm quoting this. It's just, I think, more of the movement in the transitional moments rather than the push-up themselves. But we're going to be doing 3 styles of push-ups. So each one is going to emphasize different areas of the upper body and chest area. We're going to next, instead of keeping the legs wide, we're going to bring the legs in close. We typically do this starting in a standing position, but since I've got a low space, I'm going to be doing it in a kneeling fashion. You can certainly feel free to do this standing, and I can cue the movement to provide for that as well. So you want to be more towards the back side of your mat for this, either kneeling tall or standing tall. We're going to take a breath in to sweep the arms out and up to the sky. As you breathe out, you're going to dive forward to fold. You're going to take your hands to the floor and you're going to walk out to a plank position. So you can do this modified on the knees, or you could do this with your toes tucked under with the knees lifted off ground. The first set of push-up, we're going to have our hands slightly inwardly rotated. If you're in a modified, make sure your hips draw forward and your heart is between the hands and you're looking just beyond the front of your mat. Your elbows for this push-up should bend open wide to the sides. We're going to be taking 6 push-ups. Breathe in, bend the elbows, lower yourself as one solid piece towards the floor, and then dig into the heels of your hands. Exhale, push away from the ground, straighten the arms. Again, inhale, coming down to a level you can control and maintain, and then push away, breathe out. Let's do 4 more. Don't let your head drop. Keep your neck lined up with your spine. Belly is pulled in and up. 2 more. Last one here, guys. Slow lower down and a power press up. After you have pressed all the way up, walk back. And you're either going to roll back up to kneeling or roll back up to standing. All right, second set. This is going to be focused back into the tricep muscles. So these are more the smaller muscle groups in the body, in the upper body rather, that is. So your push-up might be smaller than your classic push-up, and that's actually to be expected. Let's do it. Inhale, arms to sky again. Exhale, dive forward to fold, hands to the floor, walk out to your chosen plank. This time you want your hands to run parallel to each other. You want your arms really hugged in tight to you. And instead of your elbows pointing out to the sides now, you want the elbows to be pointing straight back. So hug in. 6 push-ups. Come down on an inhale. Push away on the exhale. Again, coming down and again. It might be a smaller movement. That's okay. Let's do 4 more. Good. Again. 2 more times. Watch, make sure the head isn't dropping. Don't look at the hands. Look beyond. Once more. There, once you've pressed up, walking your hands back towards knees or feet. And then rolling up to kneeling or to standing. Third and final set. It's a big focus to the pectorals overall. When we walk out to our plank, your hands are going to come into a diamond position, pointers and thumbs touch. So when the hands are close, it pulls everything more to the midline of your body, meaning your center more, your chest muscles are going to take the brunt of the effort. Let's do it. Inhale, arms up to sky. Fold forward, hands to ground. Let's walk out to a plank. Let's take the pointers to touch, thumbs to touch. Elbows once again, we'll point out to the sides. We'll come down on inhale. Push away. So you want to imagine your sternum trying to reach towards your hand. So really pull your heart forward, coming down. Let's do 4 more. Good. Couple more. Last time here, guys. Slow coming down. Power coming up. Once you have this time, let's sit back into a child's pose. Sitting to heels, folding over thighs. In this position, I want your right arm to thread underneath your left. I want you to look over to your left. Resting weight of body to arms, to the stretched arm rather. And if you want a little bit more intensity, lifting your hips up to the sky, pulling your upper body forward some more can bring more weight onto that arm. Breathe into the back side of the shoulder and into the upper back. Let's do 1 more. Inhale big. Breathing out, unravel yourself and switch. Left arm threading underneath the right, looking to the right, resting, excuse me, the weight of your body onto that stretched arm. You want to focus on breathing into all the muscles that surround that left shoulder blade behind you. So inhale, send it back. Squeeze out that breath. Couple more times. Once more, let's breathe in big. Exhale, unravel out of your stretch. Come out of your child's pose, and let's go ahead and transition to lie down on our left side. We're going to be doing some outer hip strengthening next. So once you made your way down onto your left side, just make sure you're in a straight line of energy. Bring your right hand to your hip and the elbow up to the sky. Push out through both of your heels. Really anchor firm your left side body to the ground. Hover your right leg and then roll it in just slightly. We don't want our toes pointing up. We want them pointing straight on. And then also line your neck up with your spine by looking straight away as well. We'll take a breath in here to prepare. We're using our hip strength on the exhale to pull that right leg up higher. We're using our core strength to keep us balanced. Hover the leg when you breathe in. Again, pulling it up. Good, and then hovering it back down. Let's go ahead and take 4 more here. Isolate and control this. So the only part of the body that is moving is the right leg. Everything else, pretty much like a statue. Lift, push that heel. Hover down on and inhale. Let's go ahead and do 2 more. Lift. Good, hover. Once more here, pull the leg up nice and slowly. This time we're only going to take the leg half of the way back down. From this space, when you breathe in, bend your right knee, slowly start to pull it in towards your body. Now be very mindful, that elbow is going to be really tempted to pull back. Keep it pointing up, up, up to sky, and then press away as you breathe out. Now, before we continue on, I am really digging into the floor with the outer edge of my left foot. So make sure your left side body is pressed for support. Let's do this again. Bend your right knee, start to draw it in towards you, but don't let your upper body fall back. Push out through the heel to extend the leg back out to its side. We're going to take 4 more here. When the knee is pulling in, try to keep it level with the hip so it's not above or below it. Again, draw leg in, drive it out. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale in, exhale away, push, push, push. One last time, draw leg in. Good, drive out. Let's take a brief moment just to let that leg lower. So what I'd like us to do now is blend those 2 movements together. We're going to start at a slower pace with fuller range of motion, and then we're going to work into a more quickened pace, but then the movement is more concentrated and smaller to provide that same stability. So let's come back to a hovered space. So what we'll do with the movement here is we're going to lift up the leg. We're going to lower it halfway back down. We're going to bring the knee towards the chest. We're going to press it back out. So right now, again, I'm working with full range of motion. I'm lifting up as high as I can while maintaining inward rotation. I'm only taking the leg down half of the way. I'm bringing the knee as closely in as I can without anything else shifting, and I'm pressing that leg all the way back out. So what it's going to look like in a quick pace with smaller movement. Lift, lower, knee in, press out, up, down, in, out. So notice my leg lift isn't as high, nor is my knee pull-in as deep. Good. Lift, lower, knee in, press out. 4 more. 4. Move all through the hip here. 3 more. Up, down, in, and out. 2 more times. Lift, knee in. Last time. Up, down, in, out. Leg comes down again. This time we're going to bend the knee to the floor and just tap that hip out. So I think sometimes, especially when we move at a quicker pace, our mind doesn't really have time to catch up to what should be working, what shouldn't be moving, what should be engaging. So before we get into the movement, really be conscious of the body parts needed for support, the body parts needed for movement, And that way you can have a much better control. So with that being said, with that last move, we just blended the two. A lot of times we wind up leading with our foot as the visual leader, and that really throws us off balance. The further away we are from our core, our center, the less stability we have, right? So our foot is the furthest away. We're a bit more wobbly. Pull it in and focus on the hip, which is pretty much getting right into the core itself. That's your base, that's your supporter of in terms of leading movement there. Alrighty, let's take that right foot, step it behind the left leg, and then let's angle the left leg slightly more in front. Hand back to hip, elbow back to sky. Let's hover the left leg to start with a flex in the foot. And then instead of an inward rotation, we're going to externally rotate. This time, we're going to be firing up our inner thigh, and we're going to be firing up the lower abs, pelvic floor region. Let's breathe in to prepare. Lead with your heel, lift. I say lead with my heel now because we really want to have a deep, strong flex in the foot. If we lose that flex, we lose the engagement of the inner thigh muscle. Again, lift through the heel. And then hover the leg on and inhale. Let's do 4 more here. 4. Hovering. 3 more. Good. Hover 2 more times. We're going to lift. Good. Hover. This one, we're lifting it up, but we're holding it in space. Imagine now that you have a marker on the heel of your foot. I want you to draw circles with that marker. The whole leg works as one solid stiff unit. Belly in firm, breathing. 3, 2, 1. Good. Pause, reverse direction. Inhale, exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Pausing, pulsing, upward, 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 breathing. 5, pump it up. 4, stiff and strong. 3, core tight. 2, 1. Good. Leg comes down nice and slowly. We're going to be going to our other side next. So however that's easiest for you. So making our way down onto our right side now. Straight line again. Hand to hip, elbow to sky. Pushing out through those heels. The entire right side of you anchoring down, the top leg hovered, subtly rolled in with the leg for that, so that the toes point forward. We'll look straight on. Let's breathe in to prepare. Exhale, lift with the hip. Hover down, breathing in. Again. Good. Hover on and inhale. Let's do 4 more here. 4. Good. Hover. 3 more. Hover down, resisting. 2 more times, pulling up. Everything else is balanced and still. 1 more time, leg will lift up. And then let's only take it halfway back down now. Inhale, bend your left knee. Take your time. Dig the outer edge of your bottom foot into the floor to help you. And then push it out. I'm also really digging down with the back side of my grounded arm. Bring the leg in. And then push it out. Let's do 4 more here. 4. Press it away. 3 more. In. Press. 2 more times. Bring the leg in. Push it all the way back out. Once more, notice how my elbow doesn't shift here, right? Control, control, control. Let's take a moment just to let the leg rest for a brief second here. And then we're going to blend the 2 movements together. We're going to do just a couple of them at slower pace to get that kind of pattern down. And then we're going to bring it into that sped up pace. But remember, when we speed it up, the range of motion in the lift and the range of motion in the pulling on of the knee is much smaller to support you. Here we go. Let's start with the leg hover, push out through that heel again. So we're going to start by lifting the leg up, taking it down half the way. Bring the knee in and press the leg out. Again, we're going to lift it. We're going to take it halfway back down. We're going to bring that knee in I want to drive it back out. So smaller, faster. Lift, lower, knee in, press out. Up, down, in, out. Again, lift, knee in, good. Up, down, in and out. 4 more times. 4, knee in. Remember, we're moving from the hip base. Knee in, press out. 2 more times. Up, good. Knee in. Last time, lift, lower, knee in, drive out. Leg comes all the way down. The knee now will bend to the floor in front, tapping out that hip. Gets a lot of burn there. We don't have to do a lot of exercises to really work out that area of our body. So we're going to work to our bottom leg next. So let's take that left foot, step it behind it, angle the right leg a bit more in front, hand back to hip, push through the heel, hover the leg, and externally rotate. Inner thigh, lower abdominals. On the breath out, let's lead with heel and lift leg up. Hover the leg down, breathing in. Again, lift. And hover. Let's do 4 more. 4. Coming down. 3 more. Hover with resistance. Let's do a couple more. As a note, that's not my dog. My dog's snoozing on the couch right now. One last time, let's lift up that leg, hold it in space. Now imagine there's a marker on the heel of your foot. Let's begin to draw some controlled, slow circles, and they're small. Breathe steadily. Keep the upper body from shifting. Breathing. 3, 2, 1. Pause. Reverse the direction. Breath in, breath out. 5, 4. Almost there, guys. 3, 2, 1. Let's pause and let's pulse it up, 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 up. Pulse through the inner thigh here. 5, 4, 3. Control it. 2. Good. 1. Let that leg slowly come all the way back down to the ground. Once it has, we're going to gently press up to seated. We're going to start to then stretch out the outer hips and the inner thighs. Let's start in a butterfly stretch by taking the soles of the feet together and the knees opened wide. I'm going to take a quarter turn here so you can see it better in a little bit more of a profile setting. I want you to either hold feet, ankles, or shins to the point where you can sit up nice and tall. Keep and maintain a flat back to start. You're going to pull back on your legs to lean in closer to them with your upper body, hinging from your hips. Then I do want you to start to begin to slowly melt over the legs, but as you're melting forward, I really want your heart to stretch beyond your toes, and I want the head to only lower down partially here in space. You're going to start to maybe feel that your sits bones have pulled away from the floor, your pelvis maybe has tilted forward a little bit, and with that we can breathe deep into our outer hips and lower back. And then a long breath back out. Again, we want to breathe into the hips. And then exhale it all back out again. Let's do that once more. Breathe in deep to the hips. And then on your breath out, I want you to pull your body weight back and slowly begin to stack yourself up 1 vertebra at a time. Your head will be the last thing that returns. Once it has, we're going to transition next into a straddle position to stretch into the inner thighs and groin. So you're going to take your legs nice and out to the sides. A trick to get a little bit more depth into the stretch, if you take one hand behind you, one hand in front, one hand behind, either make fists with your hands or tense your fingers. You really want to push off the floor, lift your bottom off of it enough to where you can slide forward, press your pelvis forward, it opens you up more, settle back into it, and then keep pushing out through your heels. We'll have the hands starting in front. If in this position, you're super rounded or you're struggling to sit upright, instead for the stretch, you're going to lean back to it. So your spine can stay long like you're sunbathing, but then you really have to think about actively pressing your pelvis forward throughout. If you're able to sit upright and you feel like this is enough stretch, enough sensation, you can stay here. If you're upright, but you feel like you need a little bit more, a hinge forward instead. So finding whichever direction works best for your body. We don't want the legs to roll in, so keep pushing up through the heels and externally rotating your thighs. Your heart will always lead movement no matter what for length. And then take some deep inhales to the inner thighs. Long exhales to let go. Couple more here. Breathe in big to the inner thighs. Empty all the way back out. Once more, breathe in big. And then exhale, bring yourself back in a tall seated position. Once you have, crossing your legs, grounding your sits bones, sitting up tall. Arms are at your sides with the palms facing sky. When we inhale next, we'll reach the arms out and lift them up. Hands lightly touch above, head, and then exhale, the hands draw down through midline, connect into our heart center. We'll do that twice again. Inhale, sweep down, out, and reach up. Connection above, and then exhale, pull within heart space. One more time here. Inhale to the sky. Exhale, straight to the heart. Keep your hands here in space. Bring your chin to chest. Close your eyes, bow in. Give yourself a moment to thank yourself for the work that you came to do, that you showed up to it, and that you're dedicated and motivated to your health and well-being. We're given one body. It's really important we honor, listen, respect it, and that we keep it forever moving. Thank you guys for tuning in to another Pilates practice. Stay tuned for more weekly videos to come. Have a great day, guys. Thanks so much for joining. Bye-bye.